showtime.
It's showtime. And here we go.
Welcome into another edition of the Movie Geek Podcast. I'm your host, George T., and we've got like a twofer combined because this is July 4th weekend. So we're going to have the weekend box office report because it is very small. We've got the one big blockbuster, which I will talk about, that I will be seeing tomorrow with Ashley and George. And then we've got some streaming stuff today that is out, and I will definitely be checking that out this weekend. And we'll look back at some of the big opening weekends for 4th of July movies. Now, also, at the tail end, we'll talk about also the movies that I'm looking forward to in July. So I'm going to combine the two. Usually I would have two different ones, but we're going to try to get this all together in one small, compact show. All right, so without further ado, let's get going. We got the weekend box office report, and we have a new number one. I figured it might happen maybe this weekend, but it happened one weekend earlier, and I'm still thinking that Jurassic World may wind up taking the number one spot here this weekend, but we'll see. So we'll start at number 5. We'll go with 28 years later, made 9.7. That fell 2 spots from the 3rd spot to the 5th spot. Opening in 4th place was the flop Megan 2.0, which made 10.2. It won't make that much after the reviews and everything else. And again, I didn't mention it last week, and I mentioned it in a short that there are other movies out there that have comparable AI robots. Elio finishes 3rd. It was 2nd last week at 10.7. How to Train Your Dragon was number 1 at 19.4 is 2nd, and your new number 1 is F1 at 55.6 million. So the reviews have been really good about this movie, and George may want to see this, so I'll probably have a review of it. Again, I'm not a big racing car fan, so unless George wants to see it, then I won't. Like Gran Turismo a couple of years ago, based on the Gran Turismo, somewhat on the Gran Turismo video game, but it was a true story about them doing an online search for drivers. But F1 here, the movie looks great from the trailers, and the action looks amazing. So I will catch it when it gets to streaming, but unless George wants to see it in theaters, I will not be seeing it. So with that being said, we've got our weekend box office, which is very small because summer blockbusters usually take over, and that's usually what people go to see, and then whatever else is out. So let's talk about one movie in particular that is coming out in a very small release, 40 Acres. This is about surviving on an isolated farm after a series of plagues and wars. A former soldier and her family make their last stand against a vicious militia that wants to take over their land. This stars Danielle Deadwyler and Michael Grey Eyes. The trailer looks pretty good. Again, this will be a limited release in the theaters this weekend. We also have a Spanish movie coming out this weekend called Kill the Jockey. This is about 2 jockeys, one male who is a self-destructive person who has all the talent in the world but has made many poor decisions. And then conversely, he uh, impregnates a woman jockey who has to decide whether to give birth or ride or continue to ride. Um, I, I don't know about this. I don't know what to feel as a father of two kids. I don't know. It's just a crazy premise. Let's put it that way. So then we've got three movies coming to um, streaming this weekend. We have for the kids a live action movie, Dora and the Search for Soul Dorado. This is on Paramount Plus. Um, so it is a live action version of Dora. It's about all that I have on this. Obviously, I have two boys. They aren't really, nobody's interested in Dora in there. But for the kids, home this weekend. Obviously, school vacation has already started. Paramount Plus, turn it on. If it's going to be a good weekend, so I mean, probably be out enjoying the fireworks and barbecues and whatnot. But hey, uh, maybe a lazy Sunday after the 4th of July weekend, throw it on for the kids. All right, so we've got two movies that I will see and probably review next week. We've got The Old Guard 2 on Netflix. So, the original one on Netflix was pretty decent. Um, didn't know we really needed a sequel, but I mean, I knew it was kind of headed that way. So, again, it was decent. This time, Charlize Theron um, leads a group of immortal warriors, like she did in the first one, against a powerful new enemy threatening their group. They grapple with a resurfacing long lost immortal played by Uma Thurman. So the trailer gives Kill Bill vibes, obviously with Uma Thurman, and looks watchable. So I'll probably have a review on it because again, it's on Netflix and it's free. So one that I am actually kind of curious about is coming to Prime is Head of State. So this stars John Cena as the U.S. president and Idris Elba um, plays the British Prime Minister. So right there, you got a decent cast already. I mean, Cena has done some really good things. This is his last year with WWE. He's halfway through, and then he's going to focus on movies and other things. So in this one, the U.S. President and the British Prime Minister have a not so friendly and very public rivalry. But when Air Force One is shot down, they have to team up to thwart a global conspiracy that threatens the entire world. The trailer looks pretty decent. Jack Quaid is also in this, Amber Rose, Carla Giano, Priyanka Chopra. I know I messed up her name, but you would know her if you saw her face. Again, me bad with names. So this will be a movie that I will definitely check out this week and have a review for. And then finally, a documentary right up my alley, Video Haven. This is narrated by Maya Hawke. It is directed and produced by Alex Ross Perry. He examines the video stores of the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s, crucial role in film culture. Now, As a former blockbuster employee, uh, I really got my love of movies from working at Blockbuster. We were able to rent two movies at a time. So when my days off came, I would literally, right at the end of my shift the day before, grab two movies. I'd watch those two movies. And then my day off, I'd go in and grab two more and I'd watch them. So I've literally seen, probably close to 20,000 movies. Seeing that many movies and just working at Blockbuster was a great experience. I loved it so much. I actually wanted to own a Blockbuster. There was corporate stores and then there were franchise stores. I worked in a franchise. The franchise that owned us owned several Blockbusters in the area, and I always wanted to do it. But I remembered reading about Netflix and talking to the owners saying, could Netflix eventually, you know, end the brick and mortar stores? Well, look at us now. I mean, now we're not even looking at Blu-rays and DVDs much anymore in stores. So, but if studios are still making Blu-ray and DVDs, this guy is going to be buying them. I got a bunch coming up that I will be buying for Prime Day, which is next Tuesday. So I've already got my list all ready to go. All right, so that is your box office report and weekend. So let us take a look at the movies that I am looking forward to for the month of July. Now, there are some interesting movies this month. There's also some really good documentaries coming out this month. So I don't normally review documentaries, but I can mention them along the way. Uh, so again, I mentioned Video Haven. Next week, Jaws at 50. I can't believe Jaws is 50. I am 1 year younger. Oh, I dated myself. 1 year younger than Jaws. That's crazy. I love seeing things like, oh, this movie turned 45 and this turned 40 and 30, and I'm like, makes me feel old. Yeah. But here's a list of movies that I'm looking forward to. We've got Together, which is at the end of the month, with Alison Brie and Dave Franco. This is a supernatural horror movie. It looks really, really good. Uh, so definitely want to check that out at the end of the month. The weekend before that, we've got uh, Happy Gilmore 2. Again, I'm going to leave this down on the lower end of the list because, again, I'm hoping that this is going to be a good movie. Happy Gilmore was such a good movie. I'm just hoping that with the trailer and, that looks pretty decent, I hope it will be decent. Can't guarantee that, though. We all know that. We also have Head of State, which is coming out tomorrow. Actually, today, actually. So, July 2nd. Sorry, I'm a mess right now. So, also, Eddington, July 18th. That is going to be really, really good. So I definitely will be getting a review on that, and I will be talking about that in 2 weeks because it's July 18th. And then Jurassic World Rebirth, which we are going to see tomorrow. And again, we're invested. George is a huge dinosaur fan, loves the Jurassic Park series. I'll talk about that in my review of Jurassic World Rebirth. And finally, Fantastic Four First Steps. Okay. Marvel has beaten me down with this. I have not been the biggest fan of the Fantastic Four movies. I've mentioned that in all of my Marvel stuff or Marvel news. It's just not been a franchise that I've really enjoyed. And I know there are some other people out there that have felt the same way. So I'm not alone in this. But we're praying that Marvel will get it right and continue building to Doomsday, because that's what we want to see, is what is in Doomsday. And I know there's surface leaks everywhere. Don't fall for leaks in false trailers and false photos. Let's just get there. And Fantastic Four has to carry us there. Now, if it doesn't do well and it's not that good, it's not the biggest loss for Marvel. They've got movies coming up before Doomsday, and they've got series as well. So, speaking of, we've got Eyes of Wakanda, Ryan Coogler's animated show. So that looks pretty decent. Ryan Coogler is doing amazing work, centers. So I'm looking forward to this. So that is the movies that I'm looking forward to. And again, there's a lot of decent movies in this month, in smaller releases. You notice I did not mention the DC movie. As much as George wants to see this movie, I'm not sure why. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. So let us now go to the week. So July 4th weekend has become affectionately known as the summer blockbuster weekend. We had Jaws back then. We've had so many films, and I'm going to talk about those right now. Now, they're not in any order. For some reason, I found this list, and they're not in order of how much they've made, which would have probably made a lot more sense. But let's talk about some of the movies that are on this list, and we'll go from there. So we have Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs. This was the third installment of the Ice Age franchise. It made roughly 41 million in its first weekend. So the third installment did pretty well. Ice Age was a pretty good series of franchise movies that George liked. Scary Movie. Yes, the mockumentary of horror films all over the place, prevalently with Scream. So this movie made only 19 million on its opening weekend, on 4th of July weekend. So it wasn't that big. This came out in 2000. Ice Age roughly came out in 2009. Then we had Terminator 3 in 2003. It made 44 million on its opening weekend. Rise of the Machines. Not good. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't that good. So, all right. Let's look at, now we're going to look at the Will Smith box office, because he literally owned summer blockbuster movies over the years. So let us look at Independence Day, 1996. It made 50 million on its opening weekend. I loved this movie. I didn't really like Independence Day Resurgence. But this movie is a classic. You have to watch it on Independence Day, on 4th of July weekend. You have to. Then we've got back-to-back Men in Black movies. We had Men in Black in 1997, 51 million. So again, they went Independence Day, Men in Black, and then Men in Black 2 came out in 2002. It made $52 million. Both were very good. So, way to go, Will Smith, for those three. And let's talk about Will Smith again in a movie that I didn't care for, but made a lot of money. $62.6 million for Hancock. It doesn't say what year that came out, which is odd. I don't know. Like I said, this website did not go in order of anything. It would have probably made more sense to do that. Also, Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, $62 million on its opening weekend. I really did like the Andrew Garfield stuff. I've mentioned that many times, and hopefully he will be in Spider-Man 4 and or Doomsday. Or, give him his one trilogy finale. He didn't get his trilogy finale. Twilight Saga Eclipse makes $64 million in its opening weekend. I was not a Twilight fan. Don't hate me if you're a Twilight fan. I didn't care for them. War of the Worlds, $64.8 million. This is Tom Cruise at his best. And it was a pretty good movie. I remember the original one. I loved the original. And listening to Orson Welles' radio one, this was an okay adaptation of it. Then you had Michael Bay's first Transformer movie, $70 million in its opening weekend. So, and that was a good start. And then they kind of got off the trail a little bit as we got past like the third one, I think it was. Despicable Me 4 last year, $75 million. It had a good weekend. Last year, again, movies or kids' movies did well. They're doing well again this year. The year before that was Ant-Man and the Wasp, 75.8. Oh no, that was a few years before that. 75.8 million. This was right after Infinity War, so I think people wanted, some levity after what happened in Infinity War. Despicable Me 2 back in 2013, 84 million. Spider-Man 2 with the other guy, Tobey Maguire, 88 million in 2004. Spider-Man Far From Home, 92 million. This movie was so good. Looking forward to Spider-Man 4. This will be hopefully the last one for Sony. There is reports that Sony is going to give up its intellectual properties, which would be amazing. Give Marvel back their stuff. I've already said that. Transformers Dark of the Moon, 97 million. Then the actual number one overall was Minions: The Rise of Gru, $107 million, 2022. Spider-Man: Homecoming made $117 million. And finally, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest made $135 million. So there you have it for the big 4th of July weekend movies. So there's a lot of good ones in there, some surprising ones as well that made a lot of money. But Will Smith definitely owned the summer blockbuster for a while. He also did Wild Wild West, which was after the original Men in Black, and that one actually bombed, and for good reason. It was not a very good movie. He and Kevin Kline did not work well together. If you actually liked that film, I want you to tell me why it was a good movie for you. It just didn't work and clearly didn't make enough money to even correct that. But Will Smith, as you saw, had 4 movies in this article of the top 4th of July weekend movies. Could have had 5 if Wild Wild West was a lot better. But you can't win them all. Can't win them all. All right, so with that being said, everybody be safe. If you are doing anything this weekend that involves fireworks, please be safe and watch movies, hang out with family. If it's a nice weekend, you're probably not going to be, staying in much. But if you are staying in much, you're not, participating in any barbecues or anything like that. Watch some movies. There's some very good movies out there right now on streaming services. There's also plenty of documentaries. One I didn't mention that is on Netflix right now is The Shark Whisperer. Um, Probably not the best one if you are afraid of the water or sharks. So just a word of warning. But that being said, everyone be safe. Have a good 4th of July weekend, and I will see you all back here at the movies.
You like that, baby? Let him know where I came from, yeah!
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.